关键这个有多大的可能？很多黑暗势力不想这么干，黑暗势力想啊，我得让你乱了啊，打几下子，在南海折腾几下子，然后飞弹飞几下子，叫你国内人吃人啊，人吃狗，狗吃人啊，这是个人吃树啊，最后树没有的这种感觉，让你乱上个3年5年，最后再培养一个他信任的政府，又打着什么伟大的旗号，不知道什么党又出现了，又给人民分土地来了啊，然后控制中国。这一头这咱们的美国的战略伙伴认为这个很大。说白了，就是很多黑暗的势力不想让你中国被定点爆破以后，迅速的过渡到一个和平可控制的权力和局面，这是有可能的，这确实但是战友们，这个时候我们要做的什么？千万别依靠什么美国联合国，他们打不是为了咱，他打是为了他，是他的需要，千万别自我感觉良好，他去打去了，你以为是为了咱去打的，永远都不会，任何情况下都不会，它是个资本主义社会一切是为了资本我资本这个问题能满足了，然后再所谓满足他的信仰上帝。对不，兄弟姐妹们，这现实吧，咱别糊弄自己对不对？他一定是这个结局嘛。所以说现在在这种情况下，战友们问我很多问题，我想告诉大家的事情我认为有70%的机会会走向灾难，几年的动荡，有30%的可能会因为内部我们的战友还有真正的精英采取了行动以共灭共，斩首行动成功，然后跟世界上所有的这些联合力量，你们别管我们内部的事儿，我们能管得住。关键这个有多大的可能？很多黑暗势力不想这么干，黑暗势力想我得让你乱了
Good evening, everyone. This time we decided not to start our place because you're using a different system. These couple of days we did have an excitement event, which is excitement, probably not the word should describe. But whatever happened between Iran, Israel and the U.S. Basically it's shocking and also a quick. I think President Trump did a good job. What do you think?
Well, I apologize. I cannot hear you at all. I can hear you are talking, but I just cannot hear what you are talking actually. And I couldn't see that video and couldn't hear the video very well. So today we're going to talk about Iran and what this has been on the news, and what I am interested in talking about Iran is what does this bombing by the U.S. On Iranians' nuclear targets have an effect on the Chinese Communist Party? Because Chinese Communist Party have been quite deeply involved in the Middle East. So before I talk a bit further, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I cannot hear you at all. Hello?
Somehow I'm out of there already. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Previously, I couldn't hear you, couldn't hear the video, and couldn't hear anything. I can hear remotely there's some noise, but I couldn't hear what it was. Can I make it up? Yeah.
Right now, is it better or not?
Yeah, it looks better now. Sounds better now. Yeah, okay. We can carry on the conversation.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you can hear me. Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah.
You go ahead. And we chose the video from Miles Gore because he's talking about what could happen to China if Chinese people start rise, if the U.S. Try to help China get rid of nuclear. So we kind of want to relate it and with what's happening with Iran. And we all know Miles mentioned many times the CCP was behind Iran and give whatever Iran needed to get nuclear. And I believe this time President Trump is acting because they know there was some plane went in the Iran. We don't have really exactly intelligent evidence, but from Miles talking about before, for sure. And if Iran can get any nuclear weapon, it has to be from the CCP. And I feel like this time what President Trump did is like a show and tell to the CCP. What do you think?
Yeah, I also think that way as well. I think they literally like Trump sent this U.S. bomber, that drop all these like heavy duty, bombs that penetrates, very deeply into the underground and destroy Iranians' nuclear structures. And it looks like American is joining the Israel in warning off Iranians' ambition of using nuclear weapons, develop their own nuclear weapons. But I think deep down, this Trump must have done a lot of calculation because there's a lot of implications when he dropped the bomb. First of all, there's Russia in the Middle East, which was been a long time, rival against the U.S. interest. But well, but right now, I mean, since the past decade, the CCP has taken over, Russia's or U.S. influence. They are the main key player in the Middle East, especially Iran. Iran is made up of Shia Muslim, right? Muslims, so we all know, and that and it has a lot with Israel, and it's also with Iran and has been fighting against the Middle East, other regions like Iraq. So Iran is a big component in this very unstable, volatile, politics and peace in Middle East, and the biggest supporter of Iran is no doubt CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, because Chinese Communist Party need the oil from the Middle East, and that even though they make a deal with Saudi Arabian, so that Ben Salman, have make a lot of deals with the CCP and even agree to use RMB instead of US dollars, but still, like the Saudi Arabia is kind of like stuck on both sides of the boat, right? So they caught with the new power in Middle East, which is CCP. But in the meantime, they maintain relationship. They try to play that balance, with the U.S., which has been the dominant power in the Middle East since the Second World War, right? But Iran is after the Islamic War in the 1979, is it right? 1978. So they've been very, very anti-American. They chant this slogan. So Iran was considered a hardcore ally with CCP, and if Trump sent all this bomber on Iran, he must have to think the implications on the Chinese Communist Party. So when you told me about the news, right, you sent me a message about Tom on the news also talking about like we just said we deploy all these bombers over there and bomb and destroy their facilities. I was excited. I think this was almost like a declaration of war against against the CCP, because like you're bombing Iran, it means like you're bombing CCP, because we all know maybe not everybody knows, but the people who have some insights all know that that's CCP's interest. So CCP use Iran, mostly Iran, to carry out their political agenda in Middle East. So when you attack Iran, you kind of deface the CCP, and that's what I'm so excited to hear about that news. But I know the bombing Iran nuclear facility has lots of. It's not just for CCP. There's so many implications, but we are mostly focused on Chinese Communist Party, and we like to see the downfall of CCP. And I think this is a very important step towards CCP's eventual demise. Right? And when you said when Moscow talked about Iran, I apologize, I couldn't hear the video. So I thought it was because Moscow paid a lot of attention about Iran, right? Because it's first of anyway, I'll probably say the next one, but Iranian, according to Moscow, has been has been like used by Chinese Communist Party, and if Chinese Communist Party has been they support Iran to accomplish what they really want, is kind of a proxy war, right? Like they are kind of like CCP's agents, I would say, in that regard. So when US attack, I think like, what do you think? Like CCP would they retaliate? Would they do something just to show that, hey, Trump, we are here, Would they dare to do that? I doubt that. Anyway, what do you think?
As Miles talking about before, they won't even have a chance. Like this time when Trump attacked Iran, they didn't even have a chance. And that B-2 they used, that plane, is also called end of the world or something. The radar cannot detect it. They get in the country, they did the job, they get out without anybody knowing it. And I don't think anybody else have that. They have actual really precisely targeted that they want to do, so they did it. And they didn't really have to. They really didn't have. I mean, if people live really close by, probably and going to lose their life. But I really hope that's not really happening in China, because what Miles mentioned before, the CCP have all that military things was underneath the hospital, underneath the kindergarten, all kind of things, underneath the residential. So it is. I'm not quite sure what happened if that happened in China. But this time, that's why I use a show and tell, and I hope CCP give up the nuclear eventually. But right now, Trump is still really in the friendly page. Like today in the EU, and then he answered a question from the journalist. They said, "Oh yeah, Iran still can sell the oil to China. It's open for them to sell." And some people ask a question, oh, they use the RMB. Oh, well, go ahead. They do whatever they need. They need to rebuild the country. So Trump didn't say you can sell. So this on the surface, like the political step is all there. But Trump has the agenda. First of all, they have to make their own homeland safe. And then it's a lot of for him to do. And then there's the fire happening everywhere inside the United States, right?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting that you mentioned about Trump try to try to avoid a direct conflict with China, especially in his wedding. Like Trump's been like so carefree when he talk. You can tell like he's not on a script. He just say whatever comes to his mind. But with regard to China, he's always very calculated and careful because. And that means actually means something. That actually means like he knows that China is the ultimate adversary, right? So when other country that doesn't really that matter much, he doesn't care. He just talk, right? But when it comes to China, because that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I mean that China has have like power to sort of challenge the Americans. So he wouldn't take it for granted. He keeps saying like, you want to talk with Xi, and then he still try to portray, like the communist regime as kind of friendly, and he tried to make a deal with them. Like that's what he has been saying so far. And but you look at his action that he has taken, it's actually quite mean, towards CCP. So, so I think that's fun. You saw that very interesting discrepancy between what he said and what he has been doing, and I think this is good. I think this is strategy. And that's just my guess, because like you want to take on an enemy one step at a time. You don't want to announce it, right away, and then like, hey, I'm gonna after Iran, I'm gonna come at you. It's not like that. Like it's not like that. Even like Johnny mentioned, like this time, like in the past, U.S. would announce that, hey, I'm gonna launch an attack, and they will attack, followed the announcement. But this time he didn't announce, before the attack. He actually announced after the attack, right?
Yeah.
So that's he have this change already. So a change of strategy, because after all, is not about showcase the politics. In the past, they are not genuine. I think the American were not genuine in whatever they were doing, right? But Trump is really come for peace. He's saying this is for peace, because like a long-term conflict in the Middle East gonna be very, very harmful to global peace. So you want to make peace. So like he appeared to be quite neutral, right? He also criticized Israel, for broke the peace, the ceasefire deal, by bombing Iran. So he was really upset about Netanyahu, and that's a different topic. But I think like you're right. So he's I think he understands. He has his strategy and his agenda, like how to get there, eventually defeat the CCP, like how to get there. He probably has his agenda mapped out already, and he's executing it one step at a time. And the Iran is one big milestone, because what I see is like CCP didn't answer it for that. CCP didn't answer for the attack. Did they say anything? Even like Russia, I mean, Putin didn't say anything, but it was, you sent me the message, from social media, someone quoting that, the Russia president actually hinting that, everyone want to support Iran with nuclear technology.
Yeah.
I think that was just bragging, but Putin didn't say anything. Putin is the real, has the real power. It's not the Russian president. He's just a rubber stamp. He doesn't mean anything, right? So people probably won't take him very seriously. But Putin actually didn't protest strongly. Instead, Putin even like called up Trump saying that, how could I help? I think that's very interesting. So these are not the usual politics that we've been watching. Because in the past, U.S. would do something, or it took military action in Middle East. They will announce it and go for it, and then and then they'll make a very high profile, show about it. But then eventually nothing changed. See how many, I remember things like the Clinton administration, or David Kemp, they invited the Yasser Arafat. That was a long time ago. Was the Sharon. I remember that was the then Israeli prime minister, and they make it such a big deal. So this is an unprecedented milestone of breakthrough of the peace. We're gonna work at peace in Middle East. I mean, they make such a big deal, gives people hope, but then, just like a year later, since the conflict started again, so never been actually truly a solution. Because I believe a lot of global elites, including the former U.S. administration, they want to perpetuate the conflict instead of solving it. But I think Trump is the president who actually want to change the reality, to change the status quo. The previous one, they all like perpetuate the status quo, and with Trump is that he mentioned, I think it will have a real impact on CCP. But let's see how it plays out, because CCP Iran is so crucial in CCP's global strategy of taking on the West, because Iran, it's the Middle East. Middle East it controls all this global, economy. They can fluctuate the oil price, and then it will have a huge impact on global economy, right? In the past, it was Russia, I believe. It was Russia that has been supporting, the former Soviet Union, and then Russia been supporting Iran. And then they was the rising CCP regime since 2000, and it's they formed this sort of like evil of access. So they start to defy anything the West under the leadership of US they were doing they were doing the exact opposite things in the Middle East. They kind of indirectly support all these terrorist group, like Hezbollah, Hamas, right? But US is like under this mission of like anti-terrorists. So they go in there, defeat Iran, defeat Iraq, but then they have this what do you call it, the ISIS, and all this is in Afghanistan. Biden withdrew Afghanistan, and then the Taliban took over. So you see, like, Americans have been sort of give and take. Like there's all these superpower there that's using Middle East to perpetuate. I think that global elite interests, nothing changed, and that conflict remains perpetuate. And now we come to a point that I think that there's actually eventually that someone actually want to make peace in the Middle East, and Russia seems to welcome. At least it's not protesting against it. And then CCP were unable to do anything. Like you say, like the military power is hell in comparison with Americans' technology. Right? You mentioned about the bombing, like, with precision. And Trump, he mentioned that, like, even there's no moonlight at all, completely dark, and they still hit the target, right? So it's like, technology is far ahead of CCP. CCP cannot compete with US, in terms of their military technology. So they were unable. They know that, if you want to confront US right on, they're going to lose. So they wouldn't do that. Yeah. So I think, like, I don't know what's going to do. They can do some sneaky things, like assassination and everything. That's all they can do. That's all they can do. And if they fail, they will fail eventually, right? So, that's the situation. So with all these conditions, all these all this strategic change, a paradigm shift. I'm seeing a paradigm shift in Middle East, and that I think that's beyond CCP's. Like they have to come up with something to to maintain their ally, sort of ally, in the Middle East. But I think, like with Trump, I think they'll garner more and more support from Middle East, like the UAE, for example, right? They just before. So Trump already set up this stage, So he have a visit in Middle East and UAE. He received a very, very warm welcome by the Arabian leaders, right? And then Trump will have that confidence that he really have confidence that I can make peace in because he didn't have the best interest in that in this conflict. So he can solve. I do believe he can solve this Middle East conflict, and by solving this Middle East, it will have a huge impact on CCP. Yeah. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, and also one thing quite interesting, right after the U.S. bombed Israel and blow up the Iran's jail, like open the door. So that's kind of open the door for the people of Iran. Like right now in China, how many people being jailed because they're against the CCP. And then I believe there's a lot of people in Iran not agree what Iranian regime doing either, because Iran wasn't like that in the 70s. So and then it's kind of open the door for your own people. Say, if you guys want to change, you deal with it or whatever. I kind of think that's a really interesting move.
I hope that will happen in China as well. I hope that to happen. Yeah. You're right. So I think the US and Israel, they're all talking about regime change in Iran. They want to instigate a regime change because I think the current the leadership, the supreme leader, especially he does not represent the interests of Iranian people, the majority, right? Just like the CCP doesn't represent the average Chinese people, right? They are just an elite, a minority group of people who kind of hijack and usurp the money, the profit, the wealth generated by the Chinese people. I think that same thing happened in Iran. Iran has such a brilliant history, and it was so sad that it was governed by this very brutal and radical ideology with this religious like supreme leader. So by, like you say, by releasing the prisoners or by doing something to enable their people to take advantage of this attack, I think they do have a chance. They might have a chance, to topple by their own people. By the Iranian people might have a chance to topple the government, and that's the power structure, of the supreme leader. And that, if that were to happen, I think the Chinese are gonna say, yeah, we can do that too, right? And then if as this American can carry out this precision attack on certain like elites, CCP elites, then why not? There could be a chance for Chinese people. But anyway, I think back to Iran, I think that Iran is CCP's psychic, I would say that. And then when this psychic was about to crumble and to give up, then CCP might have to, I hope eventually, I really hope that CCP can transform into democratic, states, peacefully rather than, violently. So I really hope that the leadership in CCP will be able to, under Trump's leadership, they should say, maybe it's better off when we change ourselves rather than, wait until people rise up and then remove us. I don't know. That's just my my wishful thinking, maybe. But it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, as Miles always said, if the Chinese people want to have some change, eventually has to come within. And then if the whole world is ready to against the communists, so eventually will come to the CCP. And then if Iran totally changing, is going to take like an arm and a leg out of the CCP, right? So the CCP has, like Miles mentioned, about 5 evil countries, and Iran is one of the stronger one. So this is really going to help in the future, and in the future of China, and in the future of Chinese for sure.
Yeah. The because Iran was considered by American as one of the evil country because after the Islamic Revolution, that slogan, the national slogan is "That's to American," right? They want to kill American. So any Americans traveling to Middle East might endanger themselves being kidnapped by the Iranian, military or their representatives. But Iran was not like that before the revolution. They were very pro-American before the Islamic Revolution, and that I don't know. There might be a considered conspiracy theory. But I think it's true. There's a whole bunch of global elites. They need that conflict. They profit from conflict. They profit from chaos. Just like CCP, like they profit from chaos. They profit from poverty. They profit from all this, they divide you, make you fight against each other, then you benefit from that. That's exactly what happened. I mean, there's nothing that seriously like Israel, the Jews, and Iran was not even like a typical Arabian in terms of race, right? Because they're different. They're Persian, right? They're Persians. They are not like they are not like Arabian that back in the time back in history, like the Babylon, right? You know the Bible, you know the story because they were imprisoned by the Arabs, back then in Babylon, and then they were actually saved by Iran by the Darius. Back then Iran was as a super Persian Empire, right? Very, 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 yeah. And that was a time when there's actually no that much of conflict between this culture. They can coexist very well. It was until this global elite and this superpower who who wanted to have chaos and so that they can control. So I think that's also another one interesting point I want to make is the misinformation about Iran over a long period of time by this legacy media, because they keep talking about like Iran was so close to have a nuclear weapon. I believe so because I think like it's true that CCP has been supporting Iran in secret, right? Supporting Iran in building their nuclear weapon, but it was not. It was exaggerated, especially by Israel. It's being exaggerated about the Iranian threat, and that's one of the things that we find out. So it could be if this is true, then that we I try to approach this sort of Israeli and Iranian war like objectively. because I think Israel has something at fault as well. I think that Israel, I think it's it's they have their own calculation, and that I don't know if the Israeli government really represent the interests of the Israeli people, or maybe they also want to perpetuate the conflict. Instead of having achieve a true peace, because a true peace that will only benefit the average people. It won't benefit the elites on the top, right?
Yeah.
So since nowadays, except for America, I think a lot of countries, including Canada, we don't trust our government. How would Israel, how would Israeli people could trust the current government? Because a lot of government are very, they are part of the game. They are part of the global elites. They are maybe working in secrecy with them. So we don't know. Maybe they have that little agenda as well. Yes, they appear to be, protect Israel, but also they might have a separate agenda on top of that. So it just makes things more complicated. I wouldn't say that they completely want to, sabotage their own country. I don't think so, but I think they have different agendas, obviously. But we are very clear that Trump is very clear about what he wants to achieve. He wants peace in Middle East. Right?
Yeah.
And for us, we are very clear. Like we want to take down the Chinese Communist Party and then see U.S. bombing Iran open up a lot of opportunity for taking out Chinese Communist Party, because you are right. Maslow mentioned like eventually it comes down to the Chinese people to remove their dictatorship in China. So that's eventually. But then when the condition is right. So what are the conditions? It must be global conditions, right? So global conditions would set things right for Chinese people to take down the Chinese Communist Party. So especially, rising from within the Chinese Communist Party. If things are right, then it will happen. And we are seeing things are going towards that direction. That's why I'm very happy to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like Trump is the only one want peace. There's other people always want to push in, gotta stay there longer. Trump doesn't want the everlasting war and want to do the job, get out. And I have to say, congratulations, Trump. You did the best. You did a good job. And I just think that's the way to go. And then if Trump didn't want the Ukraine, Iran has the nuclear, they shouldn't have. And that's not today's opinion. Trump been talking like that for 10 years or more. And there's a lot of people want a war because they can make money from the weapon, from the money laundering, from all kind of things. But who's suffering? All the regular people suffering. We got the inflation, we got everything. Keep on going anyway. So, and it's the more you need added.
This is almost true in any conflict. Now I see, like, any conflict, there's always something else. There's always an individual hand behind to murky things, to stir up the conflicts. I think that's any perpetuate conflict. There's also always somebody else, or a mastermind, and anyway. So that sounds like conspiracy here, but I think it's true. After we learned a lot of things, from Mouse School, we kind of understand how the world, how the power works, But anyway, so to sum up, I think we think that CCP has lost part of the war in this global, dynamic between, the U.S. on one side, under Trump's leadership, trying to tidy up their internal problems, and also internationally they try to set things right, and then on the other side is actually CCP. Like they support all these, like, a terrorist group, and the dictators, they support the Russia invading like Ukraine. Like this is in this dynamic. I think Trump actually make a huge success. I think in this war because there's no harm of doing that. Actually, he gets more credit, and also is one step closer to peace. That's what I see. But there will be a lot of complications, and I really want to share with our audience that do not trust like legacy media and whatever they say, because I see, and they even question the legitimacy or also the outcome of the bombing. They say, oh yeah, well, they didn't bomb it. What they already said was wrong. They hit the target. They destroyed the capacity. At least they could the capacity facility so that Iran could not continue producing their nuclear weapons. So that's for sure, and that has a huge political implications, especially on Chinese Communist Party. And if Chinese Communist could not do anything when U.S. advance, then there's a more chance. Then we'll get more. Anyone who want to be against the CCP will have more courage to do that. So that's I think that's the takeaway of this U.S. bombing on Iran over Chinese Communist Party. Okay.
Yeah. Again, we are the citizen of New Federal State China. Our mission is take down the CCP. The founder of New Federal State China, Miles Guo, still in the MDC, New York. Hopefully, he got his freedom soon. And congratulations, Trump. And the first peace, the first war finished in 12 days. And and thank you, Mickey, for the computers. Thank you, Ali Boy. See you guys next time.
Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take down the CCP, take down the CCP, 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 take down the 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 CCP, 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 take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP. Take down the CCP, take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Let me tell you what I've been through, baby. Lived a life that was hella unfair. Seen things that been driving me crazy. In a country where the leaders don't care. Didn't think we had the courage to change it. Tore it down and they weren't prepared. Everything that they kept us from saying. Now we talking and they better be scared. Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead to me because it killed our families.
Capitalism sucks, hard for me to give a fuck. I to tell them and they try to keep it on the hush. Middle finger up, turn into a fist. They wanna keep the poor so they never rich. If you wanna see the future, look into the past. Been a century of silence, we gon' take it back. I'm just stating facts, tell you how it is. Ain't no way to change shit if we don't resist.
Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead to me because it killed our families.
这是你我维护正义的必须，这是你我维护正义的必须。
Take down